let's talk about what the medium term could throw up for India from the lens of somebody who looks at a lot of global markets on the charts, but looks at India closely too. Tyler Wood, CEO and Executive Director of CMT Association, joins us right now in our studios. Tyler, good having you. Thanks for taking the time out.
Thanks for having me, Niraj. Nice to be here.
Yep, thanks, Tyler. So after correcting about 10%, circa 10% from all-time highs, there are a lot of flutters about whether this dip would be one that will not be bought into. It has been bought into a little.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
When you look at the charts, short-term, medium-term, long-term, what do the charts tell you about India?
I think we're in a secular bull market. We've had a healthy pullback. As they say, when markets move too far too fast, it's important to digest some of those gains. So on the Nifty 200, I think the lows were put in November. As we came into December, that buying also signaled some momentum resurgence. And importantly, yesterday we reclaimed that important 13,700 level for the Nifty 200.
Okay, why is that so crucial?
Prior resistance becomes support. It's the polarity principle, something we teach heavily in the CMT program. So reclaiming those areas that were support and now can lead us back to a trend.
Back to a trend. So do you foresee, Tyler, that the all-time highs which the Nifty hit about 2.5 months ago.
In September, yeah.
In September. Do you reckon those are something that are up for grabs over the course of the next 6 to 12 months?
Yeah, so the next important retest level will be 14,350 on the Nifty 200. And I think when you reclaim all-time highs, that's the most bullish thing that a market can do,
right.
Because you don't have overhead supply or resistance areas beyond that key level at 14,350. So I think for investors, there's a nice move that could be made back to that prior high. And then once we're above it, we've fully recaptured trend and back into the secular bull run.
So you're not quite basing your optimism on the Nifty charts. You're basing your optimism on the back of the Nifty 200 chart.
I look at the Nifty 200, it's a little less concentrated than the Nifty 50. So you like to see the average stock. You want to see more breadth expansion. Looking beyond just those top 50 names, I think is helpful.
Okay, so if we can pull up the Nifty 200, if we can, but nevertheless, that is the index that Tyler is saying is basing his optimism on. Now, Tyler, let's assume there are sectoral indices out there, some themes which do better than the others, right?
Of course.
So when you're looking through or sifting through what is looking good and what is not, from here on for the next 12 months, I suppose you look at 12-month charts and not necessarily day charts?
Yeah, I'm a much longer term investor than a lot of the intraday.
Is 12 months a long enough
Absolutely. Daily and weekly charts are really my core area. I'll look at things like quarterly charts on 10-year interest rates, and I'll look intraday for important entries or exits, but my long-term view is as an investor, so weekly charts are kind of my mainstay.
Okay,
yeah.
and weekly charts probably depict what the month or the quarter or the year might do, right?
That's correct.
So let's assume we're at the end of 2024, looking out at 2025.
Yeah.
If you are, I'm not asking you to make an exact prediction, but going with the thesis or the opening preamble that you gave me about how we are in a long-term secular bull market, what themes look set to take the Indian markets higher?
So I think there are a number of catalysts. If you look historically at interest rate cuts by the US, the biggest beneficiaries tend to be emerging markets. And I saw you just pulled up that chart about concentration within the MSCI indices. We've seen emerging markets underperform the US, except for India. India has been a strong outperformer on a relative strength basis in 21, 22, and now again, third quarter of 2024. So I see India as a outperformer or a leader amongst emerging markets. What we've had in the US just since our recent presidential election has been a market that's on fire. The information technology, the themes of what's happening with AI and semiconductor manufacturers have certainly brought a lot of foreign direct investors to lighten up their positions to emerging markets just with these last couple of weeks. But again, that's a healthy pullback within an otherwise well intact secular bull market for India.
Okay, so tech in the US, does it equate to tech stocks or the tech sector in India doing well too? Do you reckon information technology, which is IT services, or maybe the new age tech, that is Zomato, Swiggy, Paytm, maybe fintech, etc. Do you like both? Do you like one over the other, or you don't like either of them?
So in my work, we'll start at the indices, and then we'll work our way into the sector groups. Look at each of those on an absolute basis and a relative strength basis. So each sector relative to the Nifty 200 shows you where leadership and laggards are. Amongst the leadership groups, information technology is there. We also have public sector banks, which understandably are outperforming in this recent drawdown. But there's a lot of diversification. There are things like Realty, real estate. We've looked at some pharma and healthcare names that are looking really, really sharp and outperforming. The information technology sector in India is definitely a leading group.
Are you at the liberty to talk some names with us? I mean, charts that look good to you. Okay, so let's start off with Pharma because that's done really well. What within Pharma looks good?
Fortis Healthcare was a name that comes up. I do lots of screening and scanning of the entire universe. So what I'm looking for are things that are in trend with momentum resurgence, and they're outperforming on a relative basis. Fortis Healthcare Group is one of those that's been in a strong trend all through 2024. Not sure if we have that.
No, we'll have Fortis. We'll pull up Fortis. Let's pull up Fortis on the charts. It's nearing 700 if I'm not wrong now. But you like Fortis Healthcare at the current prices? I
like Fortis Healthcare. It's I think a lot of investors look to buy things on sale. I do the same when I go into a shopping mall. I want to find the things that are at the bazaar on a discount. As an investor, buying high and selling higher tends to work better over time. So when you find things that are trending and outperforming, they tend to continue to do that on a forward 12-month basis.
Okay, so Pharma, it's Fortis Healthcare. Okay.
Yeah, that was one of the names that came up on my screen.
Okay, let's try and take top names from each of these themes. We have about 3 more minutes. So, real estate.
Real estate. Oberoi looked fantastic, and it's really at the beginning of a turnaround. So I think we had some basing. It's had a strong run here in December already. And when you look at outperformance of a market that was in a pullback, the survivorship or the leaders within that pullback tend to be your new leadership going forward after the turn. So as the market returns to strength, I think we're going to see real estate companies like Oberoi continue to outperform.
Interesting. So you are not negative real estate, which is a good thing because it's been 3 years into the cycle, but the charts still look positive.
Looks really good.
Interesting. On information technology, I'm really intrigued. What do you like here?
It's a very diverse sector group.
Exactly.
Certainly Swiggy and Zomato are cutting edge technologies. They're changing the way that citizens are getting their materials and food and all of that. But I like, as an investor, taking a little more diversified approach than just picking single names. So within the US, everybody talks about NVIDIA. But NVIDIA is not the only name in the information technology sector that has been outperforming. So I would argue the same thing for India. A rising tide lifts all ships, and so if information technology is outperforming, some of those really cutting edge companies can pull along a lot of the other technology with them. Mahindra Tech was another one that came up in my scans that looked superb.
Okay. 30-second answer if you can, Tyler.
Yeah, sure.
Because we are going to be talking to Swiggy now.
Yeah.
You don't have charts benefit for Swiggy because it's recently listed.
Yeah.
But 30-second, Zomato. It has some charts now.
Yeah.
How do they look?
Zomato is looking like we're sort of ending that contraction period. With all stocks, you can see consolidation over time, or you can see consolidation in price. And I think what we're seeing just in these last 6 weeks is a consolidation over time. They needed to digest some of those gains, and looking really good.
Okay, digest some gains, but looking good. Great.
Yeah.
Tyler, this was lovely talking to you. Thank you for this short burst of a visit, but it was lovely to have this conversation.
Yes, and I'll see you again soon.
Most certainly. That's the CMT Association, Tyler Wood, talking about his fondness for some of these businesses.